Hello, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and today is a very special day. I'll put it like that. Simply because of the message that's coming through, of the timeliness of it, and everything that it's taken. Um, for me as an individual and for us as a collective to arrive at the becoming of this this age, this stage, this next phase in our evolution from human beings, Homo sapiens, into spiritual beings, Homo spiritus, so to speak. This is a age of no more heartbreak, no more physical heartbreak, no more allowing the physical heart to break in order to set your spirit free, in order to test your spirit, in order to know yourself, in order to bring about thoughts and feelings for you to confront your shadow. We're entering into a period of time where we now know that our shadow is not an aspect of us that we need to fear. It is, in fact, the most ancient and wisest part of us. It teaches us who we are not. It carries all of that for us, carries all of it forward for us. There's no more denying it. There's no more being ashamed of it. There's no more being embarrassed by it. There's only the embrace of it. This is the yin and the yang forces coming together in harmony through conscious choice as a being of spiritual conscious awareness. When you come forth, when you allow your physical to step back, your shadow to step back, and you allow your spirit to come forth, your spiritual heart, your spiritual mind, your spiritual knowing, your spiritual being, your full, whole, and holy spiritual being to come forth into existence as existence. You open up the potential and the possibilities of unlimited vastness that is remembered but not fully known, is only remembered as a deep, deep, deep memory of what heaven and paradise and peace and unconditional love is. These are not just words. These are not just phrases. These are not just spectrums of frequencies and frequencies of spectrums. They exist just as you and I exist. And They exist to be tapped into. Just as sorrow, just as grief, just as love, just as joy, just as pain, just as pleasure. You choose these things consciously, unconsciously, and subconsciously by the way that you love yourself unconditionally, wholly, by recognizing the spirit within you and saying, the spirit within me is worthy of unconditional love. And all that is not able to show or give unconditional love, I have to separate myself from, because my spirit, the spirit, is worthy of unconditional love. And whatever is not able to give it unconditional love, it's fine. Let it be. Let it grow. Let it mature. Don't take it personal. It is not personal against your spirit. Your spirit does not judge that individual. But your spirit requires you to recognize its worth in this age, in this time. When you get to this stage, this evolutionary ground zero point of understanding unconditional love at this frequency, from this perspective and frequency and spectrum, it is a very splendid thing. It is truly beautiful. The self-judgment is quieting. That belongs to your shadow. You know who has that. You know who carries that baggage. You also know you are not your shadow. It is just something that comes with you. It has a voice. Respect its voice. Respect its place. Respect what it says to you, because it carries darker, deeper, unconscious, subconscious feelings and thoughts. And it has a heart just like you do. It is time to unbreak our hearts, beloveds. It is time to heal. It is time for wholeness. It is time for peace. Peace within oneself. Peace within one's self-awareness. Peace between your yin and yang forces. Allow them to operate as they must, as they are designed to operate. But they do not have to be at war, and you do not have to view them as being at war. That is a perception. And that is an aspect of you that needs to see things at war in order to be okay. Communicate with that aspect of yourself. You could find out that it's triggered by something in this lifetime, or it may be ancient. It could come through your bloodline. And it may just be a sense memory or a blood memory. but it's yours. And it's for you to bring peace to it, bring calm to it, bring healing to it. Another thing Spirit wanted me to speak on today is the amount of violence, the amount of abuse, the amount of pain and suffering that is getting ready to take place. It is part of the travail, beloveds. As compassionate spiritual beings, we have to understand, just like a midwife knows that that mother is going to go through pain in order to give birth. She is not there to take the pain away. She is there to help the mother through it, to calm her through it, to let her know she can make it through it, to let her know she will be rewarded once she is through it, that her body was made this way, to take this, to go through this in this manner. As individuals and collectives, we must realize the universal laws that are working for us, not against us. No matter what your physical eyes see, no matter what your physical ears hear, no matter what your physical feelings and your physical thoughts take you, realize, please, you are the spirit within. You are so much deeper than the surface which you perceive as reality. There is so much going below the surface, so much happening deeper that only spiritual, deep spiritual wisdom can understand. So don't let your mind and your thoughts interpret what you see and want to put value and judgment upon. The world that is seen, that is man's world. Yes, it is. There is no doubt. That is man's doing. That is the shadow work. This is the shadow's world. And it is time to give it over to spirit. It is time for the spiritual world. We have to give birth to the spiritual world. We have to bring it forward into this realm by conscious choice, as beings of conscious choice. And it has to come through. It has to be conceived, received with unconditional love, through unconditional love, of unconditional love, and by unconditional love. Unconditional love requires a deeper wisdom. Unconditional love cannot be born of a broken heart. Never can. Unconditional love can only come from a wounded, healed heart. One that has regenerated, one that has been reborn, one that is renewed through spirit. These are some very deep communications, but we are ready for them, beloveds. We are so ready for them. We have been waiting such a long time, but time is irrelevant because patience is a virtue. You do not rush a pregnancy along because something could happen to the infant. That infant, that being needs all the time that it can have in order to develop fully. If that is the will of its mother. I'm going to get a little bit graphic. So if this kind of forthright speaking is too much for you, if it is offensive for you, then I advise you to skip forward. That's all I can do. But these things must be said. They must be spoken. They must be heard. They must be known. They must be seen. To be taken apart. To be disseminated. To be reseeded and transmuted into something different. There is a lot of domestic violence going on right now. There's a lot of unrest going on right now. There's a lot of dis-ease, spiritual dis-ease of many shadows. Okay? And their shadow has overtaken. I won't say overtaken. Their shadow voice is louder than their spiritual voice. And those beings choose to listen to the shadow rather than the spirit, than their spiritual hearts. They'd rather listen to that shadow, that broken heart. They'd rather react, respond from the broken heart rather than the spiritual heart, which is whole and holy. It is a choice. Many will be affected by those choices. For many, it is past life karmic redressing itself, working itself out. For many, it is, understand, it's just part of the way things must be. And there's a higher knowing than yours. And this higher knowing knows more about existence, knows more about life force, reanimating, resurrecting, regenerating, restarting that life force than you do. So, beloveds, see from your spiritual heart. See from your spiritual heart. Speak from your spiritual heart. Love from your spiritual heart. What does that mean? It means unconditionally, beloveds, without reserves, without worrying if somebody is going to hurt you, without worrying where this is going. Trust the Creator. Trust the Spirit of the Creator. Trust the spiritual will of the Creator, the one that designed existence to exist. You are an expression of that. There is no denying that. Look at the way you manifest things. Look at the way you change. Look at the way you can be moved when you so allow yourself to be. Look at what touches you deeply. The politics that you see going on in this world is a yin and yang war, a yin and yang communication style, a light and shadow. And it is the will of man, humans, human beings, not the will of spirit or spiritual beings. Spiritual beings who exist only on the frequency of unconditional love. That has to be earned. It is a sovereign birthright, but it is earned, beloveds. Many storms are headed our way, but we can weather the storms, beloveds. We have for many generations, and we will for many generations yet to come. We do that individually and as a collective. That's when we do it best. When we learn to work with ourselves first. When we learn to integrate or accept our shadow parts, those lesser, what we consider lesser thoughts, lesser feelings, lesser forces within us. And we understand that those Lesser forces are the catalyst for the greater forces within us. And without that catalyst, the greatest can't be the greatest without the lesser. They are polarities. There is a duality in that must exist. That is the yin and the yang. That is the male and the female. You need it in order to flow, or you stagnate. It is best to have harmony between the two. And having harmony between the two means that you can unconditionally love both. Just like a mama, just like a mother. Mother should love all her children. She's going to feel differently about each of them. She's going to think differently about each of them because they're different personalities, different needs. Each will evoke different memories within her. But she loves them equally. Love is vast enough where you can love equally. You can love more than one being. With agape love. With motherly love. With community love. With spiritual love is unlimited. It's not limited to a box that your mind can create. Breaks through all boxes. It will not be contained. It will not be caged. It will not be subjugated. It will not bow. That is the kind of love that your spirit is worthy of. Don't settle for less. It's not about feeling or thinking that you're better than someone because you have more, you know more, or where you come from, or this and this and that. It's the wrong perspective to even contemplate, okay? To even look at something from. That's a very limited view of something. Very limited view. And why would you limit yourself in that manner? This is, maybe, I don't know. When did I start? Okay, let me stop. I'm gonna get out of the way the shadow is playing the red and the light, and I'm seeing green and just all kind of colors. Let me get out of that kind of I'm seeing green over my eye. It's very deep right now because I'm in my heart chakra. I'm in that place where I'm mending, healing what was wounded, what was broken before. The residue of generations. Through unconditional love, the self is big enough to hold them. The self is big enough to form a womb for them to be nurtured in. The self is big enough to hold the shadow and all its deepness. And that happens when you are centered in your heart, your spiritual heart. Not your physical heart, beloved, your spiritual heart. Your spiritual heart is that which gave you breath. Your spiritual heart is the heartbeat of the world. It's that rhythm that you hear and identify in music, that you see in paintings, and you are moved by the colors. You're moved by the way certain things are placed together. You're moved. You're moved. With your conscious awareness and your empathy, you are touched. That means you have a heart. That means your spiritual heart is there. Lean into that spiritual heart. Lean into that kind of knowing. Don't worry about heartbreak. Don't worry about excuse me for fidgeting, but don't worry about the unrest that is within you. Let it be. Let it appear as it needs to appear. If it needs to appear in fidgeting and playing with yourself, if it comes in rocking, if it comes in crying, if it comes in whatever form that it comes, let it come. Feel it. It will not take you away. It has no more power than what you give it. You can survive your thoughts and your feelings because you are a spiritual being, first and foremost, and you have forgotten where your true power lies. It lies in your sovereignty, in your spiritual sovereignty. And your spiritual sovereignty is what must be resurrected, what must be reborn and brought back to life from your broken heart and your brokenheartedness and your suffering and that shadow voice that always says you're unworthy, you're not good enough, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're this, you're that. Some kind of box it needs to contain your spirit in. It's going to make a zillion boxes, but it will never contain your spirit. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. Break free. Free yourself from your thoughts. From those thoughts that are negative, that are not of unconditional love. Free yourself of them. Unshackle yourself from them. Unburden yourself of them. Put them down and refuse to carry them. Refuse to be a beast of burden for your shadow. Refuse to be its breeding ground, its grave, its Armageddon, its Gehenna. I am so pleased with humanity as a collective because regardless of what the eyes see, the physical eyes see, I feel the changes. I feel just like a mother feels that baby moving within her womb. I feel the cosmic changes the same way. The same way. And the same feeling that a mother who is in tune with her pregnancy, who is aligned with her pregnancy, who is full of joy for this pregnancy, who is not at war with the pregnancy, who is welcoming, invoking the pregnancy. The joy she feels, the pride she feels. That's what I feel. That's what I feel for the process and for the progress that humanity is making. Because generations are going to look on this and they're going to know they too can overcome what they need to overcome, regardless of how big it seems, how vast it seems, how deep it goes, how high you think something is. Connected, baby. The root. Without the root, it cannot survive, no matter how high it goes. No matter how high it goes. So don't think that it's those high, tall branches that you have to break down or cut off or reach or expose. No, it is the root. The root is the truth. And you expose things to the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. The truth within yourself will set you free. Stop lying to yourself. That didn't hurt. That didn't mean nothing. That's a lie. And you're seeding lies, and you're growing. You're only growing heartbreak. And every fruit that it produces is going to be bitter. And you're going to be sour, and you're going to be full of tears, full of grief. And it's going to overwhelm you. Because in that, your spirit does not breathe. Your spirit has no voice. Your spirit is not unconditionally loved when you allow that. Don't allow beings. First, don't allow yourself to treat you like that. Then, don't allow anyone else to treat you like that. Know that you deserve more. You're worthy of more. Simply for your ability to love, to be open to love, to want to give love freely, to have oceans and oceans and oceans and oceans of it, and to realize that not everybody can receive that in that form or receive that much. It'll overwhelm them. And so you hold back. You hold back. And you only give them what you think they can handle. Because you don't want to overwhelm them. Know a time is coming where the physical heart will become whole and holy, and it will be recognized as the spiritual heart. And many will sit there. That will be the throne. That will be the kingdom from which they rule. And that way of knowing and being will manifest a different world. Patience is a virtue. The type of love you have, the amount of love you have, its time will come for you to share it. And there will be those who will be able to receive it fully and not be overwhelmed with it. That is coming. So just keep growing. Just keep realizing you are spirit. You are that which cannot be seen. That which has no form, that which has no sex, that which has no gender, that which has no desire. It doesn't exist in that state, in that conscious state, unconscious state, or subconscious state. It is pure existence. That's it. That's all. All and nothing. All at the same time. Past, present, and future. Beyond space and time, beloveds. We cannot fully grasp that. We can speak that. We can say it 1,000 different ways and still not fully from our heart right now even know what the hell we're saying, okay? Because we're not open enough yet to conceive of something so magnificent. Because we are still dealing with the shadow realms. There will always be shadow realms up to a certain point, beloveds. But what you will be dealing with will be different. It won't be violent. It won't be the root chakra. It won't be so brutal, okay? It'll be more spiritual. It'll be more, how can I say, spirit. Integral to your evolution, to your ability to recognize and perceive and to discern. Everything is about you being able to choose your being, your expression, your design as existing in higher frequencies. So it's up to you, beloveds. that's going to pretty much do it for this communication. This I don't know why the word session comes up. It's funny to me. Um, I have been acting impulsively lately. And beloveds, I want you to look at that within yourselves. What kind of impulses are driving you lately? What is bubbling up from the surface of you? Um, this is also shadow work. Okay, this is shadow work. This is shadow work. It's a way of showing you um, exactly what and what you need to, what is hidden in your depths that needs to, that is arising for you. Because you, why did I do that? Why did I, you know, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Oh, that just happened in the spur of the moment. La 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 la. It's not in the spur of the moment, beloveds. It's something that's been ruminating for a while within you. And it's just now coming into your conscious awareness. And it's so powerful that it's causing you to act without hesitation, without stopping yourself, without the ability to stop yourself. You just do it impulsively. And then you're like, oh, what did I do? Why did I do that? And then you're dealing with all this, you know, other stuff that's going to cause you anxiety. All because this is your shadow speaking to you, and you do not have the proper relationship with yourself to work things out the way that you need to. And so it's all a process, beloveds. Just be easy with yourselves. Go easy with yourselves. This is what being at peace with yourself looks like, feels like. Be gentle with yourself. Even with your impulsiveness. Don't let it cause you shame. Don't let it cause you guilt. You're a human being. You're opening up. You're changing. You're growing. Impulse is part of that. Remember when you were a toddler, how impulsive you were as a child, how curious you were. And many of your, it was before, you know, you knew not to. You did it because it was most natural. You were only later taught that's not right, that's not polite, that's not this, that's not that, blah, 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 blah. But at the time, that was the curiosity that needed to be addressed in that moment. Let me stop picking with my hair. That was the response that was needed. So with unconditional love, be consciously aware of your impulses. Be consciously aware of what is driving you, where it's driving you to, what is the root of it. What is the ultimate need that is being met by it? Not what looks like on the surface, but what's underneath that. What is the pull? Where's that pull coming from? Where is that desire coming from? Is it yours? Or is it generational or ancestral? You're so much deeper than what you know, beloveds. You're so, there is a richness to humanity that even the angels were in awe of. And understand that. Don't worry about, I'm at a place right now, I'll put it this way. I'm at a place, a very unfamiliar place. A place where I'm not trying to figure out what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes, in the next hour, in the next day, in the next week, in the next month. I'm not in survival mode anymore. And that blows my mind. That is one of the biggest changes that peace has brought to me. And I am still grasping it because my shadow is still, you should be doing this, or you know this and this and that. Oh, you're so stupid. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't make this happen. You didn't make that happen. You didn't plan for this. You didn't plan for that. You're not planning ahead. Tomorrow takes care of tomorrow, beloveds. Whether you are conscious or unconscious, tomorrow takes care of tomorrow. The next minute is going to take care of itself. Be conscious of the wisdom of what you do control. Be conscious of what you don't control and why. Stop trying to control things that are beyond you. It's not up to you to control the rising of the sun or the setting of the sun, or a solar eclipse, or a comet. We take on so much that we don't have to. So much has been done for us out of unconditional love to exist and survive. We are not as fragile as we think we are. We are capable of physician healing thyself, mending our own broken hearts. And you do that when you begin to recognize and realize you're not your thoughts and your feelings. You're not your parents' thoughts and feelings. You're not society's thoughts and feelings. You're not your neighbor's thoughts and feelings. Nor do their opinions, nor should they be able to put you in a box in which you do not belong. It's your choice to get in there, to stay in there. You do that with conscious choice and conscious awareness. You can say, oh, I didn't realize I was in the box. Your shadow did, and how did it feel? Your shadow is what feels. Your shadow is what gives you these thoughts. What is your shadow feeling about you being in this box? Is it ashamed? Is it enraged? Is it sarcastic? My shadow was very sarcastic. I was very sarcastic at one point in my evolution. And I enjoyed, oh my God, I enjoyed being sarcastic. It was just the epitome of everything. Just to be sarcastic. And that is what my shadow enjoyed. Because it grew into the physical. It manifested itself into the physical through my sarcasm, through my wit, through the drama that I magnetized and was magnetized to. It got to feel. It got to expand. It got to grow. It got to know itself. It got to smell itself. It got to hear itself. It got to see itself. It got to know itself. While the spirit was only observing. And knowing it's not real. It's an act that's fake, that's phony, that's not you. That's not who you are. That's your mask. That's your shadow. The shadow knows. And so when you start seeing and recognizing your own shadow, you're able to recognize other people's shadow, their masks, their tells, their lies, their body language. One persona from another persona. You know when they're being 100% genuine and when they're not. When they're being 100% genuine, all masks are gone, all shields are down. You have access to the spirit. They're open, heart to heart. You can communicate. You're in the presence of presence. Even silence is orgasmic. Namaste, beloveds. Thank you so much for listening. I ask that you like and subscribe to this channel simply so that it can get to other beings who might need it. And this is a community effort. And that's why I ask for that. It's not something I generally ask, but I'm being moved to ask that. If you like what you're receiving, if you like what you're hearing, if it's stirring anything within you, if you agree, if your spirit agrees with what is being spoken, please like the video. Namaste, beloveds. I love you as I love myself unconditionally.